Hello and welcome to another episode of From the Green Room. I'm Brian Zelmer, Director of KU Presents at Kutztown University in Kutztown, Pennsylvania. And this is our final episode this semester of the spring 2021 semester. And we're really excited to have a really great guest today. But before we do that, I just want to remind you that you are welcome to be part of this conversation. So if you're tuning in live on Facebook or YouTube, feel free to put your remarks or questions into the comments section and we'll try to get to them during the show. If you're watching the recording of this, you're still welcome and invited to put your comments in and we'll try to go back and visit those. So let's get to today's guest. Laurie Berkner is best known as a singer-songwriter and kids music entertainer who sold millions of CDs and DVDs, but she's also a composer, lyricist, author, and founder of her own label, Two Tomatoes Records, LLC. Hi, Laurie. Let's bring her in. Hi, welcome.
Thank you.
It's great to see you. So I had a conversation with Kate Flannery from The Office a couple weeks ago, and we talked about how big artists like you get asked the same questions over and over and over again. And she had a great answer to that, but I'm just curious what you have to say. How do you keep your answers fresh? Because you are asked the same questions all the time.
Yeah, I have a terrible memory, so it's fine. You can just ask me the same stuff and it'll feel like the first time.
Well, the most common question that I saw out there in doing research on you is how you got started. And it's been said many times, you've told many times how you started out on the teaching side of things, also doing kids music. Correct me, jump in anytime I'm wrong. But that, right. That you never really had aspirations at that time to become a kids music person, that you were in a rock cover band, an all-female rock cover band, which I think is amazing. I would love to see if there's a video out there. And then it basically kind of evolved organically. Is that correct? Do you want to just tell us, fill in the gaps?
Yes. I was in that band. I also had my own original folk rock band called Red Onion. Lois Lane was the all-female cover band. And I was doing some of my own solo stuff. It's so funny. Somebody just found a cassette tape of mine that was like my first demo. It was being sold in like a vintage record store in Texas. And he just like asked online, is this like the Laurie Berkner who does kids music? And I had to rummaging through my house to find my like one copy that I have left. Like, yeah, that was it. So anyway, that was happening then. But I was also, my day job was being a preschool music teacher that I was sort of discovering how to do, because I was a psychology major, art history minor in college. So, and I played in bands and a little bit, but I sort of started that after, when I was in this as a preschool music teacher. So while I was working with the kids, I just realized that a lot of the songs I was singing were like Old MacDonald and just things that I didn't really want to have to sing a million times only. So just to make it fun for myself, and especially because I wasn't really very good at what I was doing yet, I started to ask the kids what they wanted to sing about and then making up the songs with them. And that was something that I found fun and easy. And then suddenly we had a connection. And a lot of my early songs came out of literally asking the kids, what do you want to sing today?
That's awesome. And I have to say, the first video, my first introduction to you was We Are the Dinosaurs on Noggin. My son, who's a year older than your daughter, that's the channel that he watched all the time. And we loved whenever Laurie Berkner came on. You were his favorite more than any of the shows or programming. And so we would just get up and just dance around. And one thing that seems to be a common thread through most of your music that I'm aware of is just it's such high energy and makes you want to move and dance. Was that always your intention?
Yeah, I actually, early on, I took one class in like children's music education, and it was Dalcroze Eurythmics. And their whole philosophy is you teach the music through movement. So if you kind of have a 4 downbeat, dum da dum da dum, you have kids stomp around. And if you're doing something that is in 3, you skip or you gallop, that kind of thing. Like use the body to interpret the songs, the music. And part of the reason that I think that works so well is that, especially if you're working with super young kids, they're, they've been moving longer than they've been using words. So percentage wise, like if you're working with a 2-year-old, like their ability to use their body is much higher, has progressed more quickly and sooner than the words usually at that point, if I'm saying that correctly. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So,
yeah.
So that always like jumped out to me as being really made just so much sense. Plus I actually have done like many, many years of body work therapy and like, I just find connecting to things through movement. I write my songs from moving. Like if I'm walking around, like that is when they start to come out of my body, so that it just all made sense to me. And I felt like, oh, also, how do you keep a kid engaged? You can't just like talk at a child. There's only so much they can take in. There's only so much that they're actually understanding in the same way that you might need it as an adult. So just getting them to move was like such a no-brainer to me. So yes, I try. That's my long answer.
And I've heard you say you adopted the "sing it, don't say it" kind of thing.
Yes. Yes.
Which is a little more awkward when you're a grown-up. I went to the grocery store and I was in a silly mood, and I just asked them, "Where do you have the green beans?" and it doesn't work as well in adults, but it's a great method.
It's too bad. It's too bad because it should.
So Jack Kotler has asked the same question in Facebook and on YouTube. So apparently they really want to get this question there. In 2007, what dress did you wear, I guess, in the Mahalo music video from Jack's Big Music Show episode Snow Day? Where did that white dress come from is what they mean, I think.
Hi, Jack. I don't, Jack is a very frequent commenter on my social media, but I actually don't know where that came from. That was just something that Noggin hired a costume person to bring clothes in for me. So I ended up wearing that because I liked it.
So since Jack brought in costumes, I know, thank you, Jack. We have, looking at all your videos, watching them with my children too, obviously bright, bold colors are very part of, a strong part of your videos and stuff, but it's not, there's a line, I think, when people try to do children's videos or music or whatever, that they get too much where it gets gaudy and just loud and distracts, I think, more so than enhances like your videos do. Who makes those decisions about, those types of visual things, including your costumes?
First of all, thanks. I think about that stuff a lot. I mean, it mostly is me at the end of the day, but I have a few women who are part of my company, and I basically use them as sounding boards for all of that stuff. And over the years, different people who've come through have been more or less interested in like helping choose outfits. So, and I'm not like I have my moments, but I'm not really like a big clothes shopper kind of person. My personal wardrobe is mostly all black and gray, but I love getting to wear things that are just more fun to look at and more playful when I'm doing the kid stuff. I feel like I don't want to dress like a child because I sing for kids. I want to dress like something that's fun for a child to look at, but that also feels like me and feels like an adult. So I have actually had that idea for pretty much always. I've always felt like that was really important. And I guess just to maintain my own sense of, I don't know, dignity isn't really the right word, but like sense of self within persona, right? Of being someone.
I think that gives you authenticity, which we've talked about in multiple episodes. It's come up no matter, who we're talking with. And that seems to be what resonates with audiences the best. And I think with children's music, now this is my own little theory that I'm developing on the fly, but you look at some people that, being in this business, I've seen some really outlandish things where people think, oh, it's for kids and I've got to be totally goofy and dressed like in this plush costume. And those people seem to be flashes in the pan if they make anything at all, but it's the people that seem to have an authenticness about them, seem to have the lasting power like you. And again, that's my theory. I want to bring up Janelli Montanil, I hope I'm saying your name correctly, has a question. And she says, I may have missed this, but how did you choose children's music?
sort of chose, I mean, it sort of chose me in a way. Like, I really was, this is something I talk about a lot, which is that I think for me, it always made a lot of sense to follow what was working. So I was in this cover band. I had my original band. I did the sort of solo acoustic stuff. I love singing. I love making music. I thought I was going to maybe be in psychology, but once I graduated and started doing music, I found how much I loved it. And I got this job sort of randomly because I babysat for a woman who was a movement teacher at Rockefeller University at their child and family center with the preschoolers. And they needed a new, cheap music teacher. And that was me. She was like, oh, you do fun. I love that you sing songs to my daughter when you babysit her. We happen to live in the same building. And there's this job opening. And the woman who left had been there 10 years. So she was costing them a lot. And they're trying to like save up money for a psychologist, a school psychologist. And they're looking for like a young, eager, inexpensive music teacher. Would you want to try? And so I said, sure. I had worked with kids in daycare settings and babysitting and stuff. And I was like, yeah, how hard can it be? It's really hard. But I ended up realizing that after a few years, when I did let myself write music for the kids and with the kids, that I was having so much more fun with them than like, honestly, than like the drunk people at 2 a.m. on Long Island in like either a sports bar or a lesbian bar, because we were an all-female band. So that's the two places we played.
I have a quote that I saw in an article that you talked about this very topic, that you decided you'd rather, I don't know if it was an aha moment or if it just was gradual, but you decided you'd rather sing to kids and parents during a day yelling Victor Vito, one of your songs, rather than to drunk people in smoky bars at 3 a.m. yelling Freebird.
Exactly. I mean, there's no better way to sum it up.
That's, yeah, I think we can all kind of, even though we haven't been in those shoes, we can understand that. So now you've also, I mentioned you're an author. You've had picture books for your music. You also do something with Audible, right? Is that current, or was that already happened?
Very current. No, it's very current. I'm actually working on the second season. I was working on it an hour ago.
Can you tell us what the first season was? Catch us up on that.
It's called Laurie Berkner's Song and Story Kitchen. And so what I did was take characters from my songs, like Oscar the Bumblebee. I combined 2 songs. I have a song called Tallulah Jones and We Are the Dinosaurs. So Tallulah Jones is a dinosaur. There's Layla Miska, the mouse in my toolbox. And so all of these characters live in a magical place called Juniper Fields. And that's where the main story takes place. It's sort of like a little mini musical, and it's bookended. It actually starts out with myself and the pig that sits on my head, whose name is Thelonious Pig. He and I start in the kitchen making something at the beginning of every chapter, and that leads us to a story where we go to Juniper Fields. The story gets told. There's songs all the way through, and then at the end we come back and wrap it up in the kitchen.
Cool. So that's awesome. I'll have to tune into that myself. I have Audible. I mentioned that I was turned on to you because of my kids, and it's something that a lot of people have said, but how your music gets the adults going too. And I had actually worked with you when I was at a venue in Colorado, and my kids weren't with me. They were in Pennsylvania at the time. And so, and you had offered, we had a big VIP meet and greet with you that people, paid extra money to come and see you, like have special time with you. And after that, I just had mentioned to you that there was this severely autistic child. His parents came and asked for if there was a place that they can still experience your concert, but he just was too overstimulated to be in the concert hall. And we had a quiet little conference room, and we put him in that space, and it had a live feed to the stage, and they were very thankful to do that and everything. And when I mentioned that to you, and this goes back to your authenticity, because you've been compared to people like Fred Rogers and things, and I don't know how you feel about that, because that's such a big thing to be compared to. But I just have to acknowledge how amazing I think you are, because as a person, because they didn't have VIP tickets. You took it. You said, "Where is this conference room?" And I showed you, and you just knocked on the door and you quietly went in, and the parents were just so thrilled. And you didn't just go in and let them take a picture. You spent almost a half hour with them. And I got to tell you that meant so much to this family, and they were in tears, and they just, never got a chance to thank you and say how special you are. So I just wanted to make sure I pass that story along while I have you here and share that with the people that may not know that. So, you really touch lives, not just with your music, but even you're just a genuine great person. So bravo, and thank you for that. 15 minutes goes by way too quickly. I have 3 sheets of paper that I didn't even get to ask you certain questions. But I do want to mention, or have you have a chance for people who may not somehow know about you already, and they're just learning about you now. How can we follow you and learn about your music?
Sure.
And you have some upcoming, actually, first, you have some upcoming concerts, don't you? Actual in-person and virtual. Can you tell us about those, and then how we can learn about you?
Yeah. I do Facebook Lives, and there are a couple sprinkled coming up this Saturday. I'm doing a benefit. I'll be on for National Dinosaur Day on June 1st. But those are short and fun. I have some like dance remix stuff that I do. That's something people can check out. It's very fun. But the main things that are coming up are a live stream event for the summer solstice and Father's Day on June 20th. And we've been doing these, they're like full on. This room that I'm in gets completely transformed into a stage. There's graphics, interactive stuff. I have the band members come on and visit. It's really, really fun. There's a whole pre-show. We do a pre-show game that the kids can be part of. And it's a full 80-minute show. So that is happening on June 20th. And those tickets are at live.laurieberkner.com, but you can also find that on my website, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I just started a TikTok channel. That's been really fun. Pinterest. I mean, I'm kind of all those places.
Everywhere, yeah.
So
that's great.
You can find all that information there. Oh, I just wanted to say, so the 2 live shows, July 23rd, the New Jersey Lottery Festival of Ballooning in New Jersey. So the information about that is on my website. And that is outdoor. They're both outdoor concerts. I have done that a couple of other years in the past. It's really fun. It's a beautiful space. And of course, if you come very early or stay later, you will maybe see some balloons go up if the weather is good. But you
will
can
this
always
be your first in-person concert since the pandemic?
That will be the first one, right? July 23rd. And then I guess it's 2 weeks later, August 7th. I'll be back at the Ravinia Festival, which I think this will be my 10th year. It's outside of Chicago. And that is an incredible venue. And it's, huge lawn, so everyone can space out and just,
That's awesome.
Space. Not space out.
Before I got into that story too, what I was starting to say is that my kids weren't there, and you had offered to, because I was just standing there, and I wanted to ask you for a selfie, but you're like, you want a picture too? And you were welcome. And I was like, no, I regret that. I wish I did.
Do it now. Take a screenshot.
Yeah. Well, we have this.
We'll go stick our heads together.
I just always feel funny in the role that I'm at to ask people for selfies, but I've gotten over that. I think not getting one with you, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to ask from now on.
If somebody offers, I mean.
And I also just wanted to mention too that I have good friends that were in one of your videos. Your family. I don't know the full name of the song. Is it just Family or You're My Family? You know that one.
My Family.
Yeah, My Family. And David and Eric, and they were just thrilled that you were.
Are they the guys with the kids on there? Oh my God.
That you had their family, their type of family represented, and that was just amazing too. So I mean, again, you're just, you're so incredible, and
please tell them to reach out to me. I would love to reconnect because we didn't do the. I oversaw that stuff, but I didn't have anything to do with the actual casting for those.
Oh, okay.
And I was so happy they were in that. I mean, it just.
They're in Utah now, and I'll definitely reach out to them and let them know. So.
And those kids must be in college.
No, they're older, but they're still on the younger.
Oh, really?
Side. Yeah. Unless I'm maybe there were multiple families, but.
Oh, okay. Maybe it was someone because I guess they were little, but I thought that was a long time. I don't mean to push.
The pandemic adds time. So. we'll let you go. We're over time, but I want to thank you so much, Laurie, for joining us today. And it was a pleasure speaking with you. And hopefully we'll someday have you here on our stage. That would be wonderful.
I would love that. I hope it's soon because of that everything is opening up.
Yes. Well, have a great day. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Brian. Bye.
So I'm going to actually ask, since this is our last episode, I'm going to ask Christina, our producer, to come on and just chat with me a minute to kind of review this past season. This was a very strange time for us. Hi, Christina.
Hi,
so
Brian.
you just graduated. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you've been our intern and our producer for these programs for the last 15 weeks. And this is the last time we'll be working with you. So where are you going? Can you tell the audience what your plans are?
Yeah, well, I mean, right now I'm just in New Jersey. I'm back home from school for the semester. But my plan is sort of, I'm still writing music. Like I wrote the, theme song for this show. And so I'm still working on all that, working on my trumpet playing and my musicianship. And then hopefully in the wintertime, I'll be able to move to Nashville.
Great. And not only did you write the theme song, you were also a guest on our show when we did the music graduates. So that was a lot of fun. Do you have any, has any of the programs like resonated with you? Did you learn anything in all of our conversations?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little biased as someone who likes to write music, but I really, really loved Jeremy Zuckerman when he came on, especially because I'm a huge fan of the show that he wrote the music for, Avatar: The Last Airbender. So that was really, really special. And I loved hearing everything that he had to say. And I also really loved hearing from everyone who did the Arts Alive programs and getting to, not only see them as, people that we were interviewing, but then getting to see the Arts Alive programs and seeing them perform. I thought that was really special too.
That was cool. And actually one of those, we had our only co-host, John Ernesto from the Berks Jazz Fest. That was cool having someone else help me ask questions. And it was funny because the theme of that, one of the things I'm going to bring up is the theme of that episode seemed to be how in jazz, there are really no mistakes and you just kind of go with it. And not to call you out, but how you accidentally hit the go button to end, you like cut me off in the middle of it. And you were so embarrassed by that. But that was like one little mistake, and I've made like 10 every episode or more. So I think that was really funny that happened on that episode. I look back and there were so many great moments, I think. I've been in this business over 20 years and just in these conversations, I've taken little nuggets out from things that came up in those that I've learned in every single episode. So I'm just really happy we did this. I don't know if we'll be doing this in the fall, but if we do, hopefully people will join us again and participate. So, Thank you and good luck to you, Christina. And we'll be following your career no matter where it leads. So.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me as part of this. It was really fun.
All right. Congrats. Take care.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Well, before we sign off again, I want to thank Laurie Berkner for being our guest today. I want to invite you to subscribe and like and share or whatever you're doing right now to see this, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, because who knows, even if we don't do this, we will be having announcements, including talking about our upcoming in-person shows in Schaefer Auditorium. We will be having some sort of season that we'll be announcing in the coming days or weeks. And so this is a great place to find out that information, as well as our website, of course, kutztownpresents.org. So yeah, go to kutztownpresents.org, and that's another place if you just want to tune in, or again, follow us here. I want to thank Christina Baker, Elaine Bonfido, Amy Botwright, and Sam Brown, all on staff who helped us put this program together. And again, this is our last episode, so stay tuned for the fall information. Till next time, I'm Brian Zelmer for KU Presents, and I'll see you at Schaefer.